Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing your daily Walking Dead video for today, leading up to the start for The Walking Dead Season 8. And this one first! I went ahead and did it. I did it. Started a petition to bring Morales back. So, I'll put the link in the description for you guys to go ahead and check out the change.org petition. So let's start it out. Let's do it. Let's see how much interest there is out there in the Walking Dead community to bring Morales back. I am tired of getting these questions every goddamn day. It's just ridiculous at this point. I know most of it's people just trolling me because they know I get pissed off when they keep asking about Morales. But here's the thing, let me give you an example. So, for example, at my day job, you get some people that, some clients or customers or audience, fans, whatever, that, they give you some feedback sometimes. So sometimes they'll tell you, the usual stuff, like, I waited too long, this kind of thing. It's like, okay, yeah, you try to reduce the amount of time people have to wait, that kind of deal, the usual kind of stuff. But in this case, I just keep hearing this shit about Morales. So for me, it's like, well, at this point, I think we got to do something about it because I can ignore it, but apparently you guys don't want to let it go. Apparently you guys are like Abraham and loose ends make your ass itch. So as such, I decided let's create a petition, whatever. I'll tag it to AMC or whatever through Twitter and just see what happens. Who knows? So he does actually have a Twitter. The actor who plays Morales does have a Twitter. Juan Pareja. So he is still proclaiming that Morales lives. There's a hashtag Morales lives, so you guys can go ahead and check that out. I'll also have the link to his Twitter in the description, as well as the Wikia for the character, in case anybody's new to the channel and you have no idea what we're talking about. So Morales is a character back at the beginning of Season 1 of The Walking Dead that leaves to take care of his family because he thinks that Rick and Shane are crazy, which he's not wrong. They are kind of crazy, and they do end up almost killing each other, and well, Rick does kill Shane. So he leaves with his family. Now, this is way back in Season 1, and we never hear or see of the character again. But the actor has been pretty adamant that Morales is still alive. So there were some cool posts here from him on his Twitter. One back in January, he said, the only thing that can stop a bad guy with a bat is a good guy with a bat. And he's got a picture of himself with a bat killing a zombie, which is fun. And at Scott Gimble, it looks like he tagged him in, so that's fun. So, it's like Morales using a bat before it was cool, right? Yeah, I get it, right? And then the other one is, went to register for son's birthday certificate this morning and found a fan. Don't get it twisted. And he's got hashtag Morales lives, hashtag TWD, hashtag Season 8 Vital Records. I don't know what Vital Records is. So with that, and then also getting the daily messages in my inbox, I decided let's go ahead and let's start a petition and see. So guys, here's what I need from you. Here's what I want you to do is if you do want to see Morales back in the show, if you'd like to see it, if you think it makes sense, if you'd like to see him return either Season 8 or maybe Season 9 because they're starting production on Season 8 this upcoming week. So, scripts are all ready and that kind of stuff anyway. So it'd probably be, it might be difficult to fit it in. I don't think Gimple likes to do stuff like that. He seems to be pretty planned out. He's not, like Mazzara, who would just throw shit in all over the place, right? So we probably won't see Morales back in Season 8. Let's be honest here. It's probably not going to happen. But if you guys do want to see it, let's treat this like a poll. Go to the change.org link in the description and click it to vote it up. And if enough people want to see it, I'm thinking at least 1,000 people need to at least sign it. Otherwise, it's probably not going to do anything. But you guys can sign it, and we'll go ahead and we'll send it through and see if we can get him back in the show. Because they do kind of have to listen to the fans. The fans ultimately, your audience, your customer, ultimately is your top boss, right? So if you ignore what your fans say, if you ignore 100% what people say when they've been saying it consistently on and on and on after years and years and years, you can't really do that. You have to listen to your fans. You have to listen to the audience. So let's see how much pull we have. Let's try to get Morales back in The Walking Dead. And if he doesn't go back in the original, I think it'd be cool to see him in Fear. I actually think it'd be a really good thing to see him cross over into Fear because also, of course, he leaves in that. And I forget where he was headed exactly, but of course he is Latino and, we've got Mexico border, the whole thing going on in Fear right now. So maybe in the next couple of years we could see him in Fear. It'd just be cool to see the character back in the show, and that way people can stop bothering me about it. So some fun stuff. Check that out and write a comment below on what you guys think if you want to see Morales return in The Walking Dead. If you'd like to see it, if you think it makes sense and how it would be. For me, if, like, for it to make sense for me, I'd like to see him maybe as like a whisperer. I think that would be cool. So after he leaves, for example, this could be a story. So he leaves, his whole family's killed except for him, right? And then he kind of loses his sense of reality and who he is, and maybe becomes a whisperer, wanders around with them, could be one of the first whisperers we meet in the TV series or something. That would be really good. I think that would really work out well. So that's definitely a way they could bring him back and have it make sense, as if it was like a destroyed kind of shell version of him. Worse than Morgan's clear state. So I think he would come back as a villain if he was going to come back, to be honest with you. So after everything that's happened in the zombie apocalypse. So, but write your comments below. Let me know what you guys think, and change.org. Check it out. Sprite Films says, hey, do you guys reckon Nick is beta? So it wouldn't be beta, because beta is freaking huge, but it's kind of the same kind of thing that a lot of people have been talking about recently. Of course, we had the new poster yesterday that they showed, which is the fear what you become, with Nick there, and he's got kind of the blood all over him, this kind of thing. And it's pretty interesting what they're doing with Nick and Fear the Walking Dead right now. I mean, it's one of those things where, like, if you look at the characters, they don't seem to fit with the Whisperers and who the Whisperers are in the comics. Like, their TV series version doesn't seem to look like those characters and the Whisperers in the comics series. But what they are doing, what Nick is doing, is 100% like innovative and Whisperer-esque, right? So do we have multiple groups that do kind of the Whisperer thing, or has Nick kind of figured out for himself? And some people think maybe he'll run into other characters and they'll become a part of the group, and then later on they could kind of become the Whisperers, which would be pretty cool to see if they were going to go that route and see kind of like the birth of the Whisperers. They certainly have used in a few episodes where he'll be like in the middle of a group of zombies going towards some of the gangster guys, and then get right up on them and stuff, and they start eating them and everything. So it's definitely a cool thought, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of Nick in his kind of whisperer mode, so to speak, his guts trick mode this season. Should be really cool. But I don't, we've got to see some connection first before we can say that they're the Whisperers, or at least their location has to, it has to be closer to where the group is. Right now with being near Mexico, there near the border and everything, or in Mexico still, they haven't really crossed back yet. If they're going to, we don't know. But their location would have to be closer for it to make sense. Negan the Awesome Psychopath says, Trev, I believe Michonne will be the one to kill Jadis. What are your thoughts? So I think that's a good prediction too, because of course we did see Jadis kind of make a move, an advance on Rick, in quite the creepy way, I will have to admit. But it would make sense that Michonne would be like, you stay away from my man, and sword slash in the whole bit and kills her. So I like that prediction. That's a good idea. That's probably the best way I've heard of for someone to kill Jadis. Also, because if it's a guy that kills a female, that's always got kind of a weird stigma about it when it's a guy killing a girl. Usually it's best if you have the girls kill the girls. I'm just saying. So I like your prediction, Negan, the effing awesome psychopath. I think that makes a lot of sense, and I think you're right. I think if anybody should do it, so far from what we've seen in the story, then Michonne would be the one to do it. Wild Liver 1212 says, Trev Q&A, what do you want to see in The Walking Dead Season 8 premiere? So I'll probably do a whole video what I want to see Walking Dead Season 8, and we'll go through all the comic stuff. But basically, in episode 100, I want to see a huge amount of zombies, huge zombie horde. I want to see them attacking the sanctuary. I want to see some awesome, almost swear words from Negan and colorful language back at Rick for attacking. And that's mainly what I want to see. I want to see, the Saviors core group versus the Survivors core group, and a whole shit ton of zombies. As long as we get that and some fun dialogue from Negan, I'm happy. I'm a happy camper. Swigmaster 2000 says, hey Trev, my question is, what are your plot predictions for Travis in Fear the Walking Dead Season 3? Where will he go in terms of story? Will he survive the season? Just wanted to hear your thoughts. I think at this point, I'm thinking Travis will survive probably long term. We've seen him transform quite a bit already, and he's kind of becoming super badass at this point in Fear the Walking Dead, so I'm really enjoying that and what they did with him at the second season, the end of Season 2. So my predictions for him, I would say, become even more badass, maybe get some more practice with guns against survivors, and help protect the group should be good for sure. And Angus McBride was the one who said about the theory about He says, I don't like the idea of Madison becoming alpha and these characters coming into the main show. But what they could do, say at the end of season 4 or whenever the Whisperers show up in the main show, is have Alpha show up and take over Nick's group, which is how Fear could end. This would give the Whisperers a backstory and would also be a good way for Fear to end. Sorry, okay, so and that's kind of his idea, that it would be somebody like somebody that Nick teaches the technique to, or so to speak, or something, and then they kind of take it on their own and then end up in the main show. It would be good, and I think it's good to have those kind of crossover elements between the series. I don't think we have enough of those. Having a character like Morales, for example, crossover from season 1 of Walking Dead to Fear, it could give Fear more credibility and make it feel like it's more in the Walking Dead universe, it's in the zombie apocalypse world, versus just kind of like putting the name on it and having zombies and, having it be the same. Having more crossover elements, I think, is a good idea, but it's tricky to do. Like, as you brought in here, that would be tricky because you would have to have the same actress, kind of come into the one show and then go and do the other. So that would be pretty tricky, but I do think it could work well, and it would be good to kind of connect the shows, because I feel like with Fear so far, it's very disconnected from the original Walking Dead. It's not tethered enough, I think. Just having zombies in that, which even in a lot of ways look different because the location's different, and probably even the people doing the makeup is mostly different, I think, because I don't think Greg Nicotero is able to do all for both of them because he's so busy with the original series. I can't imagine he would be able to do everything for Fear as well, too. Some of the zombies do look quite a bit different in it, so I think things like that are good, but it would be really tricky to do, and if you kind of do it that way, if Fear the Walking Dead has to end for the characters to end up in The Walking Dead, then that's where it could get really tricky. Coordinating between both shows and stuff like that can become really tricky in terms of strategy and booking and things like that. It can be really tough for them. So that's why I think they haven't really done anything like that so far. But someone like Morales would be a great character to do that with because he's such an early survivor in the main show. And he's Latino, so, near Mexico and everything. So they could work it in the story that he ends up going down there for who knows whatever. Lily May says, hey, Trev Q&A, I watch all of your videos and would really appreciate an answer. I'm not 100% sure, but is Dwight not a season regular? And since Simon is, I'm thinking maybe Simon will become the leader of the Saviors later and Dwight could be killed. I'd prefer by the hands of Daryl. So we'll have to see what they do with Simon in the TV series. A lot of people I heard from your comments yesterday in the videos that Simon could, a lot of people are thinking he's John. So maybe Gary's not John and that Simon is actually John. So what would happen is he would actually take over the Saviors after. But then if you wanted to have somebody who's good with the survivors, is Simon one that could work like that? Is he somebody that could kind of turn his back on Negan? I guess so, because he seems to be that kind of character that's a little tricky like that he could do that if he had to. But he would have to see that Rick and the others mean business, and that he would have to be scared of Rick in order for it to work, I think. Matt Fatoso says, Trev, do you think Gimple signing on as executive producer on Fear is AMC trying to link both shows? Eventually, could we see a crossover episode or something? So like we just said, I don't think it is, but I think what it is it's probably an attempt to make Fear the Walking Dead more like the original Walking Dead. So obviously they want it to succeed, they want it to do well, and they probably want it to have a similar type of feel. I think the stuff they did with Travis at the end of Season 2 was very similar to Walking Dead and what we see in the original series, so that was really good, but there's some things in it that I would say certainly don't feel like the original Walking Dead. I'd say that Fear is a little bit more towards the drama side, whereas The Walking Dead is still a drama, but it also has a lot of action in it too. The Walking Dead, I feel like, probably has more action. It's more action-oriented than Fear might be. At least it depends on how you look at that. Because Season 2 in Walking Dead does have some slow episodes as well too that are very drama-based. But Season 3 is very action-based, so it depends on what you're looking at as well. Let's see. Barry McCockiner says, nice. If All Out War is Season 8, do you think that the back half they could show another Whisper Easter egg or even an introduction? So, I would think we'll see something Whisper related in the second half of Season 8. Even if it's like an Easter egg or something small, I would think we would see something. I'm looking for something. So if it's not a character introduction or Heath or something, you know, we should see an Easter egg at the very least. And last one will be from Gambler77_77. He says, how did the tiger know who was bad and who was good? That's true. You're right. Shiva probably wouldn't know. But if Ezekiel was just like, if she was like loyal to Ezekiel, maybe he's just like, that way, kill them or something. And he starts yelling and stuff. Then maybe it could work and Shiva could go nuts on whoever he points towards, because tigers they're pretty smart. And yeah, so maybe it's not... Having a tiger in and of itself is not 100% that realistic. But then again, you can make the argument that in terms of like a group's culture and having like a successful community, that having a leader like Ezekiel with a tiger is probably a nice culture piece for that. So I guess you could make that argument as well too, but it's probably not the most realistic thing to have a surviving tiger in a zombie apocalypse. With zombie apocalypse, again, people point out, like, how can you be realistic in a zombie apocalypse? It's a zombie apocalypse. Anyway, that'll be it for today's video, guys. If you liked it, please thumb it up below. You can also share, you can favorite, check out the change.org petition, and if you're new and you want to subscribe, bottom left to subscribe. So for this video, guys, we'll see you again soon for another. So I was just Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys, and see you tomorrow.